Hello, and welcome to day 3 of ICCCon here in Nashville, Tennessee. My name is Brown Leader. I'm with Hyperspace Heroes podcast, and we are here on the ECPC TV stage today with 3 wonderful performers, actors that you know from the Star Wars universe. They just came off a panel called Heroes of the Rebellion, and I don't think there's any better title that we could really give it than that. But with us today, we have Denis Lawson, who played Wedge Antilles, Angus MacInness, who played John Dutch Vander, or Gold Leader, and Garrick Hagon as Biggs Darklighter. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Is this how is the convention going so far for you guys?
It's been such a drag. No. It's been lovely. And as Garrick was saying, the people here are so hospitable, and that southern hospitality is not underrated. It's been just lovely. People are lovely here. Really nice. Really
And
nice.
also the pace has been interesting because a lot of these events everything's going like a freight train. And,
Yeah.
This is just a little more laid back and a little cooler. And the people, as he says, is just absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
So it's been very relaxed. So I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it like crazy.
Yeah.
We get up late.
That's the best part, right? Getting up late and not having to rush right down.
Yeah, that's
at
right.
a
That's
certain
true,
time.
Yeah.
All right, right. And is this your first time to Nashville? Then I take it.
Yeah.
For all
Yes.
of you?
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Right.
Delighted to be here. Wow.
Well, good. And for everyone watching and listening, we still have one more day left. These guys are doing autographs and photo ops, so make sure you get down here if you're in the Nashville area to get those. So thanks for joining us today here on the stage. Wanted to ask, we'll just kind of go around and ask a few questions, and which I wanted to start off with, which was, let's kind of go back. Obviously, we're going to talk some Star Wars here, and with A New Hope, how did you guys end up getting your roles? And Angus, we'll start with you.
Okay, we had this same discussion earlier, and I think it's for, especially for Denis and myself, that there was a sort of general call, and every American actor or even young actor was in London at the time was called in, and we met this long-haired, bearded guy who was about 32 years of age, and nobody knew who this guy was at all. And we sat down and had a chat. And apparently he scored us according to 1 out of 10. And whatever your number was, if you were a 5, maybe you were a pilot. If you were a 7, maybe you were a Biggs.
Oh, that
So-
was my
See what he did then. See what he did then, Garrick.
I stole
Yeah.
I stole your
Or an 8.5. Probably an 8.5. Yeah.
I didn't know Biggs from Biggs. And
And yeah, that was basically it. And it was the same for almost everybody that was there.
Yeah.
You know, we all just went in and had a chat with this guy. But those were the old days.
Right.
You know, in movie making, where you went and met the director. These days, everybody you have to do a self video.
Right. A self-promotional video.
And then you send it in online, and then you
the
might
director
or might
doesn't
not
even
hear.
see you,
And it drives me crazy. I can't stand that. Right? You know, it's lost when you lose the chemistry between a director and the actor, it's like you got a problem on your hands, because how does he make a choice and look at you on the screen and say, yeah, I'll have that guy because I like his hair color, or I like his eye color, or, you know, the good jaw. I mean, no, that's not what it's about. I mean, sometimes you need eccentric people, and that's the only way to find it, is to sit down with them and have a chat. How are you doing? You know?
Right.
And all the interesting pictures I've done has been like that.
So when you guys were cast, I'm curious how, because Denis, you were Red 2, Garrick, you were Red 3, and Angus, you were Gold Leader. How did they come up with that? Was that something that they just assigned to you, or you guys got to pick your own numbers?
No,
and-
we were just, no, absolutely. They just gave us the roles. I wasn't even, was I aware I was Red Leader? I'm not really sure, Red 2 or something. I can't quite remember. But no, we had no, we just turned up, as Angus said, and met George and had a chat and went away, and then got the call, come in and do this thing, the Star Wars thing, and we we had no concept of what it was. I don't think we saw a full script, as I recall.
I wondered if you guys actually got the script. I remember getting the script.
Yeah.
I've got a partial script.
Yeah.
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 I didn't know what it meant.
Yeah.
I didn't know C3PO from.
No, exactly. exactly.
H2O.
So, no, not at all. No.
So when they called you in, because you guys all played pilots, when they called you in, did they all call you in and do the filming together? Did you guys film separately?
No, we shot together. It was, well, I mean, we did the battle sequences, if you like. It was a hot summer, 1976, and we all used to sit outside the sound stage and, mess around and have a bit of a laugh and la la la. And then we went up. We went called in one at a time to climb the wooden ladder up to the platform, and there was a guy each corner of the platform who wobbled it around. That's how basic it was. And you sat in the cockpit, well, behind you. And there was nothing in front of you but the camera and George Lucas. So. That's kind of how.
Well, I had a little Texas Instrument. I
Oh,
remember
did
that.
you? Oh,
A little square thing that I punched.
Can I call my agent? I didn't get a little.
They just had little squares of plastic stuck on the one I remember.
Yeah.
Were there?
And
Oh,
they
I
didn't actually work.
Didn't work. No. But
So-
you had to move around as if it did.
Oh. I
And
forgot
nowadays
about
they
that.
have a full technical cockpit for
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
So was it all this? Did you guys all use the same cockpit mock-up, or
Yeah.
Okay, so it was.
We
Just,
were all in the same chair. As I say, you were.
It was like a production line, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a production. You set
I'd
up
leave
one
and
at a
then somebody
time.
else would
Yeah,
get in,
you're
and then
next up.
that's-
You go same chair, same George camera. That's it. And we just did a shtick up there, and
Right.
that's it.
So when like, did they let you get in the cockpit and rehearse your lines first, or did they just go right into shooting like you?
kind of went right into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know
Yeah.
the lines?
Yeah.
I
I
know
haven't
the
got time to start rehearsing.
And but how long did it take to do all of this shooting for the battle sequences?
God, I can't remember. Do you guys
Probably
remember?
about a day. I mean, I don't remember being there very long. that's
No,
for sure.
no.
No, it wasn't very long.
And it was too hot to be there anyway.
Yeah, too right.
The only problem was that I didn't mention this earlier. I should have, but George lied.
He lied.
And he
Lied?
He said I did all the sequences that he wanted. I read all my lines and got them all out. And he said, okay. He said, that's finished. He said, but we're going to set off a small explosion behind you because I get killed.
Yeah.
I get blown up.
Oh.
And I said, okay, that's fine. It wasn't a small explosion. It was a nuclear bomb.
Oh,
Wow.
And I was like, I mean, change your underwear, Oh, man, it was just outrageous.
And thankfully, they only did it the one time.
Yeah, once that's all changed, all the time.
But I get asked this all the time. And I don't think I had a bomb behind me or anything like that. I don't think I did. I can't remember anything traumatic about it.
Oh,
So maybe you did, maybe because Bill Hootkins always said he did. But I can't remember, and yet I was supposed to be the first to die. I thought maybe I was. I looked at it, and again recently, and I couldn't figure out if I was the first to die. I don't think.
So Dennis, a few minutes ago, you had mentioned that you guys just they all brought you down there, and then while you were waiting, you guys would kind of be waiting off to the side and get into some hijinks and things. And
Yes, that's
what
right.
what were some of the things that you guys?
Well, I
kind of-
can't possibly discuss that. Oh, I can't really remember. I mean, it was a long time. But we just, a lot of us, I'd say we mostly, because we're sort of young actors kicking off, most of us knew each other in one way or another. Or we got to know each other very quickly. And you just, we'd sit outside and chat and mess around and have a laugh. And, yeah. Just kind of like that. The detail I can't remember or I will not discuss.
Right.
We may have talked about women, of course. That's very
We
possible.
could
Or
have, and we could have
girls,
also
as they say in
complained about
Scotland.
the heat.
What?
We could have complained about the heat.
Yeah, we could. Well, we probably complained about the heat. Yes.
people that live in Britain are constantly talking about the weather. Constantly.
Yeah,
Constantly.
that's right.
The only if your conversation stops, people say, "Oh, rain." Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
look, it stopped raining.
Very
Oh.
British to talk about the
I
weather.
feel like they've
That's
got to
right.
fill the void of emptiness,
Yeah.
right, with
But
something
it's
going
the weather,
on.
always the weather.
Always the weather,
Yeah.
right.
The sun came out today. Really? Did it?
Yeah.
I missed that.
So, Dennis, you were in all three of the movies,
Yeah.
and then you came back and made another appearance in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So how was that? I mean,
It was great. I mean, it was so nice to get back on the set. It nearly didn't happen. I was very busy at that point. I was in the theater. I was in a play and then immediately directing a play. When I got this, very unusually, I got an email from J.J. Abrams. That doesn't happen. They go to your agent,
Right.
you know? And it was so unusual. I rang my agent and said, "Is this kosher? Is this a wind-up?" You know? And so they checked out. I said, "Yes, it is him." So I went back to him and he said he wanted me to do it. They wanted me for 5 days. I said, "Well, look, okay, here's my schedule now." And he came back to me and said, "This isn't going to work. We can't do this." So I banged the table a lot and shouted and jumped up and down and said, "Come on, we've got to, you know." So in the end, I could only manage 1 day out of my schedule and theirs. So it was lovely to get back on a set. It was great. JJ's terrific. He's got a great energy about him. I liked him very much. But it was lovely just to step back in again,
Right,
briefly.
I can remember sitting in the theater and the absolute, the amount of applause and yelling when we
Oh,
saw you on
really?
screen.
Oh, that's
yes,
very nice.
absolutely, absolutely.
Fabulous.
So Angus, in Rogue One, they actually brought a lot of footage back from your
Yeah.
filming in A New Hope. And did you see that when it was in the theaters or?
Yes, I saw it. Yeah,
Yeah.
And they put it in exactly the right place.
Right, exactly. They did, didn't they?
Absolutely.
How was that
Exactly
to
the
see
right
yourself on the screen again? You know,
it was. I
after-
still haven't got my head around it. Honestly, honest to God, it's been what, 8 years or something, or 7 years, and I still can't. It hasn't settled down. I can't like. I went in and I was watching. I think, God, you know, I was 27 or something like that at the time. I'm like, how does that happen? I mean, it's like it was just so bizarre, and it still is. I mean, it's dislocating because I mean, I'm in this 2 different pictures, 40 years separated, and it's kind of odd. Well, it's more than odd. It's downright weird.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
And then just that lost my train of thought right there. So, so you guys, you know, screen time wise, you know, you guys were, you know, just, you know, portions of these movies, but your characters have gone on to, you know, have breathed much more life in the comics and the books. And have you guys, Dennis, I know you've done some audiobooks, right?
Yeah.
Have you guys really kind of kept up on how those characters have blossomed over the years? Because they've really become integral parts of the whole Star Wars lore. And for us fans, I mean, it's exceeded beyond what we got to see on the screen. And I was just curious if you guys had, you know, kept up on any of that or kind of seen how those characters have grown.
I personally haven't. I think I've read Phantom Menace for the R&IB, but I haven't really kept up on my family, the Biggs' background, and so on. But it's intriguing what people have written. Somebody wrote a whole poem about me as Biggs.
As you do.
As they do.
I think it's just it's an interesting thing. I like Garrick. I haven't. Part of the problem is that I think that if they use another actor, I'm going to be really cheesed off.
Right.
So I don't want to watch
Right.
and say, how come I'm not doing that?
Right, exactly.
I don't care if
They've
I got a
improved
white
technology
beard
to the
and-
point they should be
Yeah,
able to bring you back,
if
right?
just because I've got a white beard and no hair, that doesn't. I mean, how can they do? But and they did an animation, and I thought, well, that doesn't really look like. And they didn't pay me for that. I mean, come on, you know. But hey, you know, it's what it's. The movie business and entertainment industry is a strange beast.
Right.
And people think of it as being a singular thing, but it isn't. It's all these little bits to pieces. You know, every film is standing on its own. And people go and they make a movie, and it's like, it's not an industry in that sense, like car industry. It's a weird sort of puzzle of weird people making movies and translating their ideas on the screen, and it's changed. It's, as I was saying earlier. It's everything evolves, and that's fine. And so following this when we did the film, I was a huge science fiction fan, and I still am. I still read a lot of science fiction, but and I love the fact that the ships were like all wrecked. I mean, they were stained, and they were and our costumes were dirty and scuffed, and I loved that. I thought, well, it's because all the science fiction up to then, everybody looked pristine. They came out of they looked just like they walked off the
Right.
And I was like, I thought, well, this is really weird. It's really nice. It's great because it's like everything looks used, and it should do. I mean, these are old ships. They're old bits and pieces. So, in that sense, it worked. But the future, it's going to take its own life, and that's nothing to do with me. So.
Right. Well, gentlemen, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you,
Thank you.
for joining us here
Delighted.
today. You guys have been a part of my childhood and a lot of people's childhoods. I
Yeah.
grew up on the original movies, and the X-Wing parts and the Y-Wings were always some of my favorite stuff on screen. So thank you for that, gentlemen. So if you're in the Nashville area here, make sure to swing by and say hi to these guys. They're doing autographs, like I said, and photos. Make sure you stop in to see them. This is a rarity in Nashville, or in this part of the country, really, to get to kind of see some of those heroes that we grew up on. So, gentlemen, thank you for joining me today.
Great
Thank
pleasure.
you.
I hope
Thank
you have
you.
I hope you have the rest of a good con. There's still one more day left, folks. So come on in.